When most people think of greenhouses, they think of a structure built to house beautiful things, like plants and flowers. But the greenhouse I'm walking through is filled with something different. Animals that in most cases people think are ugly or terrifying. As we're about to find out, these are animals that are deserving of our respect, admiration, and protection. This is a greenhouse filled with crocodilians, and they are beautiful. A good portion of my life has been all about action, which still holds true. But now I pour all that time and energy into wildlife conservation, education, and the pursuit of knowledge. This is Kamp Kenan. Yes, the greenhouse. This place is fun, man. Now, folks, I've been seeing this thing as it's been being built, so I have been tipped off to a lot. But Kyle, explain to the folks just exactly, you know, what this place is all about.
I mean, where do you start? With the greenhouse, obviously, you know as well as I do, with Florida, it's far from ideal for having reptiles year round. So I wanted to have something that I could benefit with the sun, but still, you know, close it up when it's cold. And I found a retractable roof greenhouse. It's the best of both worlds. I can shut it when it's cold, shut the sides, shut the top, retain the heat, especially with the water. The water comes out at 76 degrees out of the well.
That's fantastic. And this is a dwarf croc we're looking at?
It is, an African dwarf crocodile.
So this is an animal that definitely needs to stay warm in the winter.
Yep.
So, you know, like he was saying, you know, we get those odd cold days. It's so difficult for us to move animals in and out. This is easier because he's controlling the environment essentially with the greenhouse.
That's exactly
Kyle has control issues, man. He's trying to control things here. So how many enclosures are in here as we walk through?
We have 8 of the 750-gallon enclosures here.
Okay.
And then we have 10 of the 20 by 20 foot enclosures.
So this section here is primarily for smaller crops.
It is. It's a grow out section.
Okay,
yep.
cool.
So then I have, if you want to see here, this is a sub-adult male Yukari Caiman.
That's beautiful.
So then you will see the adult females in a little bit, but this is the sub-adult male that'll grow to breed with the females.
Fantastic.
He's got to get a little weight on him and size.
So this is the Yacare Caiman, and this is a crocodilian that is found the further, if I could say it, hold on. It is the furthest southern species of crocodilian. No other crocodilian is found in latitudes that far down. So they're found down in the Pantanal. Yeah, way down there in Argentina. Awesome animal, man. And they can take a cooler temperature from time to time.
They can, yep.
Gotcha.
So these are the grow out. Saltwater crocodile in here, if you see him.
Let's see.
Come on, buddy, take a look.
Now, these guys pretty responsive to you?
They are. I mean, with you guys here, it's a totally different, you know, scenario for them, but...
Now, you have caves in here too, man. That's pretty sick.
I do. Because the small guys, they like to have somewhere they can hide. I don't want to come in here and be able to see everything. You know, it's nice for them to be able to hide and get away from it all. You can see him there, actually. So yeah, it's actually a big piece there that they can actually go under and hide.
That's really cool because...
And they absolutely love it.
It's funny, people don't think of crocodilians as a sensitive or shy species, but in fact, their whole deal is about remaining undetected for the most part. So. That's really cool. I mean, so much thought has gone into this place. You know, he's a little obsessive, but I guess it works out when you're dealing with your animals. The place is beautiful. So now we're walking up to some of the bigger enclosures. And talk to me about this one. You're using the tubs. You like that because it's easier in this facility to control them?
Because, I mean, with natural ponds, they're great. But in a smaller area here, they can dig so fast and so easily, and I mean,
you actually got, you know, they come out on land and dig right here. You can see that.
That's the reason I put the fence 2 foot underground, because most people don't think crocodiles dig, but there's proof right there.
It's kind of funny, in South Florida or in Florida, we have Fish and Wildlife to come and inspect all of our facilities when we have certain species of animals. And the wildlife officers will come here and like, he's overbuilt. I mean, you see these overhangs here? I mean, this is just above and beyond. That's why it's so impressive to just see how much you thought about this place. And even that being said, man, I'm sure there are some challenges that you face. You think you get things dialed, but as we're talking about South Florida, the environment, it's almost like Jurassic Park, dude, because you can't control everything. Nature will find a way, and you've had some issues with rain from time to time. You know, if you leave the roof off, you're in trouble sometimes. So
I don't know if you can see him.
Yes, you can.
There's a male saltwater crocodile there.
That's a beautiful animal.
And he's going to be with this female. But don't get me wrong, Kenan, this is still a grow out. enclosure.
It is.
This is not going to be their permanent enclosure.
Oh, no, okay, that makes sense. I mean, so the greenhouse is basically a giant nursery.
It really is, yeah.
Wow.
And also for individual animals, it's just like people. Sometimes they just don't get along with each other.
Gotcha.
So it's good to have a spot that they can go by themselves and be to themselves.
So, we talked about in episodes past, like your whole mission is to become a conservation facility for crocodilians. You started when you're 15 as just an obsession like most of us, but you grow up and you kind of want to do something different.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I got my first alligator when I was 10.
Wow.
So I've been doing it for 15 years, and I mean, it's something that it's all about conservation. Cool. It's not like I'm trying to make crazy money from.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to make a difference in the crocodilian world.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. And in fact, folks, you may not know this, but there are zoos that are looking to place animals in facilities like this because they want to breed these animals in captivity, because in some cases the zoos are not even going to be able to acquire animals anymore. And that's really sad because we are definitely losing so much of our biodiversity on the planet.
Yep.
So it's going to take little arcs like you're building here and people like Kyle to really keep these animals going.
And what you talked about in a previous episode with the assurance colonies, with Southeast Asia, crocodilians are just as much in risk with the turtles. So it's great to have assurance colonies of Chinese alligators, Philippine crocodiles, Siamese crocodiles, of that sort.
And of course, the ultimate goal is to get these animals, work with the conservation biologists that are out there in situ, out in the field, to get these animals back out there. So if we can keep records, stud books, get the biodiversity or the genetic diversity back out there, that's fantastic. If the trade in that subsides or somehow becomes sustainable, that they don't take from the wild. What are we looking at here? I noticed you did, this is interesting to me, man. This is all native plant here, and it's really cool. Originally people would think of this as weed, but you actually like what the animals are doing in here.
I did.
So tell me about what they do to the enclosures that have an animal, and then enclosures that may not be filled yet.
I mean, you can actually see how clear the pond is.
Yeah.
If there were no crocodiles, it'd be overgrown with algae and such, but they break it all apart with swimming around. And also they push the leaf litter down. If you can see, there's a lot of dirt patches. That's just because they're walking around so much.
So they do come out on land quite a lot. Not a lot of people know crocodilians will utilize their land area.
Oh yeah, they do.
That's really cool.
I mean, the African dwarf crocodile is predominantly terrestrial at night.
Wild.
You'll find them just walking through the forest.
Get out of here. And you recently were in, what was it?
Ivory Coast, yeah.
Wow.
And we saw them walking through the forest.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. They only have a pond this big.
Okay.
And then they just...
And that's another myth, I guess. Crocodilians just want to find a nice, quiet hole to hide up in and wait for food to come to them. That's really cool, man. This is incredible. Talk to me real quick. This is an interesting thing. You always have the water going, so it's a well-water situation. You mentioned it comes out at 72 degrees, but there's another thing that's happening. You're constantly changing the water over, huh?
I am, yeah. Just to keep the clarity and also hold the temperature, because if you just pump it for a little bit, it's not going to retain that temperature. Okay. Especially in the winter.
But do crocodilians ever get any kind of fungal problems if the water is too dirty or things like that?
Yeah,
can that happen?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's another way.
Bulletproof.
They are, huh?
Yeah.
They're tough animals, man.
Just think of what they live in,
Exactly. This is definitely the lap of luxury. But we have another enclosure we want to show.
We do, the adult female Yacare Caiman.
Let's check them out. We might even be able to do a little bit of a feeding. I love this enclosure, man. This is pretty cool.
So this is where the two adult female Yacare Caiman are.
Okay.
This is a natural pond in the greenhouse.
Nice.
And this is where that subadult male that we saw earlier will be eventually once he gets up to size.
Yeah, very cool. I like this because you did have enough room here to give them a natural pond, and you can see they're slides. And,
oh yeah, you can see slides all over the place.
And there's one of the females there. She's kind of hanging out with a little rat in her mouth way over there. They're a little bit more shy, huh?
They are. I mean, they're out when I'm around and feeding, but once another person comes along, they're
smart. They know who's safe and who's not. So we'd have to spend a lot more time here for them to get used to us. But it's cooler actually when you have the animals that they just know you, and it's a little bit more intimate in that way, and they get to behave the way they would in the wild. You keep them kind of wary of other people, which I think is a good idea.
And again, with this natural vegetation, they absolutely love the long grass. They love to hide in there, and actually they bask in there as well. And then I put a little bit of philodendron as well, just to break it up. But most of it is a natural vegetation.
So guys, I mean, there's some of you that are going to be watching this that are from places that it gets cold. I grew up north in Long Island, New York. He's from Pennsylvania. Kyle, how much of a dream come true was it for you to finally get these animals outside of the warehouse you used to house them to here?
I mean, it was 15 years in the making. Ever since I got my first alligator, I've always wanted to give him a natural enclosure outside. And for example, I have one crocodile that we had to do blood work on in Pennsylvania. And she wasn't the same for 2 months. Wow. She wouldn't eat for a month, and she wouldn't go on land for 2 months.
Wow.
When I moved her down here, she ate a couple days later after I put her in the pond.
And look at that. There's another female, and she's looking for some food. Hopefully she'll find that little morsel we sent to her.
But if that's not a testament to them being where they're supposed to be, I don't know what is.
No, this is definitely, you know, when you first moved down here, it was very exciting because he's a stone's throw from my house, so I get to see crocodiles on the daily whenever I want. And I've watched how this place has evolved in a very short time. I mean, you're only in Florida for just about a year. It'll be a year when?
December.
A year in December, and look at how much he's accomplished. So very cool. And it's easy for people to just think, oh man, he just got here, but the reality is he's been doing this since he's 10 years old, as most of you have been doing. So it's important, guys, stay true to your passion, and you potentially can get out there, and it doesn't have to be on this level, man. It's not what we're saying. You just have to have the animals that you keep and take care of them the best way you can. But congratulations to my buddy Kyle, because he's doing a good job. And I have a feeling there's going to be much more that you're going to do with your crocodilians and reptiles. All right. Stay tuned. Thanks so much, guys, for hanging out. Thanks, Kyle, for letting us in the greenhouse.
No problem.
We'll see you again soon. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm out of here.